The trap of safe communication and the power of intention. Attracting high quality women, especially as you get older, has absolutely nothing to do with the size of your bank account, your physical looks, or the cheesy pickup lines you find scattered across the internet. The reality is much simpler, yet most men completely miss it. Millions of men are entirely invisible in their dating lives because they communicate from a continuous place of hesitation, fear, and self doubt. They choose to dilute their true intent, play it safe to avoid any hint of conflict, and desperately try to please their way into a woman's life. They mistakenly believe that being harmless, overly polite, and agreeable is the path to romance. In reality, this passive, tiptoeing approach creates absolutely zero emotional impact, immediately stripping away any sense of mystery or excitement and placing you firmly in the frustrating nice guy category. Real, raw attraction is never built on a flawless performance or a scripted mask. It is driven entirely by raw emotional certainty and the courage to be seen. The moment you finally shift your mindset from trying to impress a woman to making a genuine, lasting impact on her, the entire dynamic of your dating life changes overnight. The human brain is naturally wired by evolution to respond to clarity, conviction, and direction, not to a perfect, sterile behavior pattern. While the vast majority of men spend their energy spinning their wheels in endless, exhausting, and vague small talk, the few men who actually stand out do one specific thing differently. They take absolute, unapologetic ownership of their desires. They don't hide what they want, nor do they apologize for their attraction. They stop chasing external validation and instead they create a clear, solid path forward so the woman never has to carry the exhausting emotional burden of figuring out where things stand. This is precisely where the first breakthrough phrase enters the equation: I want. Most men actively avoid using these two simple words because they are deeply terrified of rejection. So they subconsciously outsource the emotional responsibility to the woman. They send weak, hesitant text messages like, hey, maybe we could hang out sometime if you're free, thinking they are being casual and polite. What they are actually doing is signaling a total lack of certainty, throwing their hands up and forcing her to make the executive decision, plan the logistics, and take the risk of rejecting or accepting. It is a subtle form of emotional cowardice that immediately kills any budding tension or attraction. Switching to a grounded, direct approach completely flips the momentum of an interaction and commands immediate respect. When you confidently state, I want to take you out this Saturday. There's a place I think you'll love. You instantly replace passive hesitation with genuine masculine leadership. True leadership and attraction is never about control, manipulation, or dominance. It is about providing a safe, reliable container and a clear direction for the interaction to flow into. When a man lacks a definitive direction, a woman subconsciously feels a subtle sense of instability, forcing her to step into the leading role just to keep the conversation from collapsing. The moment she is forced to lead the dynamic, romantic attraction fades into logical coordination. True clarity is overwhelmingly attractive because it acts as a beacon of certainty in a modern dating world completely saturated with mixed signals and second guessing. The depth of appreciation, congruence, and the power of silence. Expressing your raw desire and stating your direction is a massive step forward, but intention alone is never enough to build a lasting connection. If you operate purely from a place of I want, you run the risk of coming across as entirely self centered, demanding, or shallow. Desire without depth feels like a transaction, which is exactly why you must pair your direction with the second breakthrough phrase: I appreciate. While the words I want communicate your trajectory and where you are taking the interaction, I appreciate communicates your deep perception. It serves as undeniable proof to a woman that you aren't just trying to get something from her, and you aren't just blinded by her physical appearance. You actually see her, recognize her, and value who she is as an individual internally. To make this transition work, you have to completely eliminate generic, surface level compliments from your vocabulary. Telling a beautiful woman she is pretty, hot, or cute does absolutely nothing to spark a deep connection because she has heard those exact words 1,000 times from men trying to win her favor. Instead, you need to shift your focus towards specific emotional validation that highlights her mind, her character, or her energy. When you look her in the eye and say, I really appreciate how you think, there's a depth to your perspective that's rare. You instantly activate the reward centers in her brain. You are no longer acting needy or showering her with empty praise just to make her like you. You are actively choosing her based on the unique qualities she presents to the world. By combining these two distinct forces, stating, for example, I want to see you again because I appreciate the energy you bring, you instantly attach genuine meaning to your desire, elevating the conversation from basic attraction to an undeniable, immediate emotional bond. However, you must understand that these specific words are entirely useless if your physical delivery does not match your spoken message. A woman reads your subconscious energy, your micro expressions, and your physiological state far more than she listens to any verbal script you recite. If you look at her and say, I want to take you out, but your voice is slightly shaky, your shoulders are hunched forward, your arms are tightly crossed, and your eye contact keeps darting away, her brain immediately flags the inconsistency. This lack of alignment or incongruence signals to her that you don't actually believe your own words, and her instinct will interpret that confusion as a total lack of true confidence. To fix this instantly, you must learn to slow down, ground your weight into the floor, and let your words carry real physical presence. The ultimate tool for amplifying this entire dynamic, and the one thing most men run away from, is the intentional use of silence. When men get nervous or feel a spike of tension, their natural instinct is to overtalk, ramble, and fill every empty space with restless chatter, completely destroying any attraction they've built. Silence is not an awkward void to be filled. It is a powerful tool that creates anticipation and allows your words to actually sink into her mind. When you deliver a strong, clear statement like, I want to see you again, you must actively train yourself to stop talking immediately after. Do not explain yourself, do not make excuses, and do not add filler words to soften the impact. Simply hold steady eye contact, close your mouth, and let the moment breathe. That precise stillness amplifies the weight of your words, forces her to process the emotion of the interaction, and demonstrates a massive, unforgettable level of comfort and core confidence. Master emotional contrast and creating unforgettable presence. To transition from a man who is merely pleasant to a man who is completely unforgettable, you must learn to master the art of emotional contrast. The vast majority of men approach conversations with a single, flat, unvarying energy level from start to finish. They stay trapped in the exact same polite, friendly tone for hours, which quickly becomes entirely predictable, safe, and ultimately forgettable. Romantic attraction does not live in a flat line. It thrives and expands on emotional spikes, subtle tension, and dynamic shifts. To build a powerful magnetic pull, you must learn to transition smoothly and naturally from light, playful banter directly into moments of sudden, grounded sincerity. This rhythmic shift mimics a heartbeat, expanding and contracting, and it is precisely what prevents an interaction from stagnating into a sterile friendship or a boring interview. Imagine you are sitting with a woman, laughing, joking, and keeping the energy incredibly light and fun. The banter is flowing easily, which is fantastic for breaking the ice. But if you stay in that superficial comedic zone forever, you permanently categorize yourself as the entertainer or the safe buddy. To break that mold, you must intentionally introduce a sudden shift in the emotional frame. Right in the middle of a lighthearted moment, you deliberately slow down your cadence, soften the volume of your voice slightly, lean in, and hold her eye contact just a second or two longer than usual. Look at her with absolute presence and say, I want to ask you something real. That single abrupt transition completely shatters her predictability model, instantly hijacking her attention and triggering intense curiosity. Her brain immediately recognizes that the casual playing field has vanished, replaced by a moment of high stakes, genuine human connection. By confidently navigating the space between playful charm and deep sincerity, you do something very few men know how to do. You establish a safe yet exhilarating emotional environment. When she responds to your shift and shares something authentic, personal, or vulnerable, you must resist the urge to immediately diffuse the tension with another joke. Instead, stay anchored in that depth for a moment longer. Acknowledge her courage and validate her openness. This creates a powerful contrast that allows her to experience multiple facets of your personality in a very short window of time. She sees that you are fun and capable of making her laugh, but she also discovers that you possess the strength, maturity, and grounded confidence to handle real emotional weight. The true magic of mastering emotional contrast is that it completely detaches you from a desperate, needy focus on the outcome. You are no longer frantically scanning her face to see if she likes you, nor are you performing a script hoping to secure her phone number or her validation. Instead, you are entirely focused on creating a profound, unforgettable presence in the room. You stop chasing a cheap, immediate reaction and start building an architectural connection based on depth, mystery, and safety. When you communicate with this level of emotional range, you provide an experience that is incredibly rare in the modern dating world, leaving her with a lingering feeling of intrigue that she simply cannot find anywhere else.